Namaskar, this is Akhilesh Bhargav. Welcome to Tidbits on Business and Finance with me. COVID is back with a bang in India, and this time it has come back with all possible mutants. With cases touching a new high every day, the government is proving to be a hapless spectator. Yesterday, the number of cases reported were over 2 lakhs. The massive gatherings that we are seeing in the Kumbh Mela and the huge political gatherings in state elections are going to prove to be super spreaders. The worst is yet to come. The popular perception is that the number of cases that occur each day are being grossly underreported. And if you go by a recent report of the Time magazine, the infections in India are about 400 million in number. The numbers are certainly very high than what is being reported by the government, and that's very obvious from the fact that no beds are available in hospitals and that crematoriums also are chock-a-block with bodies piling up. The COVID crisis comes with a double whammy. A whammy on the economic front and also on the health front. The health of the economy suffers massively. The patchy recovery that was taking place in the Indian economy is already gone. And the worst affected are the MSME and the informal sectors whose indices, whose statistics incidentally don't even get factored in the official statistics and data which are published by the government of India. A recent press note in the Financial Express says that with COVID coming back, manufacturing sector has gone weak again. There is no pickup in private investments and that loans are sluggish. They've never had picked up steam, but they are sluggish again. The worst hit, the report says, are the sectors of transport and hospitality. These two sectors, incidentally, are massive job generators. They create a number of jobs in the country, and thus these sectors being hit badly certainly doesn't speak good for the economy. The revival, if any, of the economic growth is certainly postponed. The restrictions that have been imposed already by many states, including Maharashtra, also mean that a slowdown, a contraction of the economy is in the offing. In the case of Maharashtra, it is estimated that just by the present number of curbs that have been put, the business turnovers have already fallen by 10%. In Delhi, the figure is estimated at 5%. The fact remains is that with some kind of restrictions, curbs and lockdowns coming in place, economic activity is going to slow down, it is going to suffer. Standard & Poor's says that with the reimposition of curbs that have come back, economic activity in India is certainly going to be dented. It further says that consumer and market sentiment is going to be adversely impacted because of the return of COVID. S&P further says that because of the resurge of COVID, retail and recreation activity, the sector in India has already witnessed a significant drop in activity. It says that this second wave is going to be credit negative as far as India's rating is concerned, and that it is a direct threat to the Indian economy, growth and recovery of the economy. With the surge proving to be increasing day by day, Nomura has already cut down its growth forecast for India. Its earlier forecast was that in the current financial year, the Indian economy will grow by about 12.4%. It has brought down its forecast to 11.5%. The forecast remains on watch, and for all you know, it might even get downgraded further. India's economy had witnessed a negative growth in its manufacturing sector in the month of February, and at that time, the second COVID wave and its intensity had not yet hit India. India's manufacturing sector witnessed a contraction of 4.6% in February, and that to us says what is going to be the state of demand and supply in the coming months. Contraction is going to take place. Last year, when we had the first COVID wave, the economy contracted sharply. The economy contracted by 25.4% in the first quarter, 7.5% in the second quarter, such that financial year 2021, the economy is going to end with a negative growth rate of 8 to 10%. Last year's wave had witnessed a peak at 97,000 cases a day in September 2020. This year, we are already crossing 2 lakhs a day, and that means that the severity of the hit on the economy because of the second wave is going to be much more tougher. The current wave will prove to be far more severe, and the suffering of the economy will be far deeper, far extensive, and far intense. The government seems to be shy of announcing any kind of a lockdown at the moment. The finance minister has made a statement that this time the government is not going to impose any kind of a lockdown. But then, if the government doesn't impose a lockdown, with the kind of rampant infections that we are seeing, the kind of sickness that we are seeing getting spread, perhaps the sickness will impose a lockdown, which the government at the moment is unwilling to do. To us, we are certainly headed to another round of contraction, slowdown, and shrinkage of the economy and economic growth. And the only way to tackle it is going to be yet another ramping up of spending, lending, and investment in the economy. And that will happen only through a fiscal stimulus. At such a time, the economy needs to see an upsurge in spending, in investing, and in lending. And in these times of risk and uncertainty, you cannot depend on the corporate and the household sector to do that. It is the government which will need to do that. It is the government that will need to prove to be the spender of the last resort. And that means we need yet another round of a fiscal stimulus, a genuine fiscal stimulus. With the adverse impact of the COVID wave 2 proving to be far more extensive and intensive on the Indian economy, the government will need to announce a fiscal stimulus in case we want to minimize the adversity and suffering that COVID is going to get on the Indian economy, on our lives, on our living, on our businesses, on our livelihood. We will need a genuine fiscal stimulus, a real fiscal stimulus, and not a farce and a hogwash like what it was last year. Experience says that the economy of those nations where the government came up with an adequate and ample fiscal stimulus have done much better than those countries where the government did not come up with such a stimulus. These nations are on a far stronger path of growth and recovery, unlike nations like India, where the fiscal stimulus was just not there. Take the case of Canada, take the case of US, take the case of UK, take the case of Japan, Singapore, and Brazil. All these are nations where the government's support in response to COVID was timely, adequate, and copious. And because of that, the economies of these nations are recovering at a very fast pace. Take the case of Canada. Canada had one of the biggest fiscal stimulus that was announced. Because of that, its fiscal deficit touched a record 17% of its GDP, and the overall debt of Canada today amounts to 350% of its GDP. But it did not shy from doing that despite the rising debt and deficit in the country. Because of that, jobs which are lost because of COVID are back in Canada. It is sitting on a surplus liquidity. Business confidence in Canada today is at an all-time high. And in this financial year, the country is expected to record an economic growth which has been the highest in the last 5 decades. Canada is certainly on a robust path of recovery. And the fact is that even now, when it is expecting yet another surge of COVID in the country, the government there is willing to announce yet another round of fiscal stimulus. That's what we are seeing in the case of Brazil also. Brazil also had an adequate fiscal stimulus announced last year. Its economy remains upbeat and confident, and growth is coming back. In India, we had huge announcements of a fiscal stimulus last year, but the delivery at the ground level was a mere fraction of what the government ever claimed it to be. If India wants to battle COVID-2 as far as its economy is concerned, we will need a fiscal stimulus. To repeat, a stimulus which is not a farce, but which is one where the government genuinely spends. It should be one where the government spends in such a manner that money directly comes in the hands of the consumer, in the hands of the producer. And to us, what the government will need to do is to spend in huge numbers on build-up of infrastructure in the country. The Prime Minister, at a time when COVID had not even come to the world, had announced that India will spend 111 lakh crores in 5 years to build up, to ramp up its infrastructure. That amounts to 22 lakh crores a year. That is what we need. We need the government to spend on infrastructure. We need the government to build roads, highways, metros, ports, airports, whatever it takes to ramp up our infrastructure and to directly spend on it. Doing that, will trigger the cycle of investment, spending and lending in India. And the government will need to do that, even if that means that the government incurs record levels of debt or deficit in the country. We have not yet recovered from last year's COVID. We are back on yet another severe wave of COVID on the Indian economy, and it is the government now which will need to spend, and it is the Prime Minister who will now need to deliver on his promise of spending 111 lakh crores on infrastructure, which is 22 lakh crores a year. That will do good for the country. That will be the kind of fiscal stimulus that we need in order to kickstart growth in the economy. This is Akhilesh Bhargav signing off till we meet again. Namaskar.
Hello everyone. HW News English is 2 years old now. When we started this venture, we promised ourselves one thing, that news should remain free, because right to know is the right of every Indian. But to keep news free for everyone, we need support from some of you. And thus we have rolled out membership on our YouTube channel HW News English. But mind you, the membership is completely voluntary. The programs that we were doing earlier, that we are doing now, will continue to remain free. First level is a basic level. Here, you can be our supporter by paying Rs 199 per month. This membership gives you certain perks and benefits. The perks include unique badges in front of your name, a live show from Mr. Sujit Nair and from Mr. Akhilesh Bhargava per month for our members. You can also vote in some exclusive members-only polls. Now the second level is Super Supporter. Here you can be our Super Supporter by paying Rs 3,999 per month. This membership will include every perk that comes with basic level. Additionally, our Super Supporters can be a part of a WhatsApp group where we can have discussions and suggestions on various topics. The second perk includes a gift pack with our merchandise. And the third perk is a Google Meet with Mr. Sujit Nair, where you can join the meet and ask your questions to Mr. Nair face to face. Lastly, if you like, we would give a shout out to our super supporters in our programs. So, hope to see you soon with our badges.